Hi there. When I finished the Q1 2026 software release webinar early today, I concluded I'd rather rushed the last element of the webinar. So I thought I would record you a free supplement that you can watch over lunchtime today, see if this is additionally clear and helpful for you. So particularly in the campaign area, I spoke about the fact we now support external attributes, and in this supplement I'll show you how you can use an external attribute to choose predefined data values that can populate your campaign personalization. I'm going to show you in rather more detail than I managed in the main webinar how the new message personalization mechanisms work with both percentage splits and segment splits. And on the way in, we'll see the campaign folders, which I did actually show you during the live webinar. So let's just go and have a look. If I drop into Orbit on the home page, and I navigate to campaigns, there are our campaign folders, which can be many and nested, and they will show the badges that you can see in this case, just some simple badges warning us that there are two campaigns that need attention, and these are not real campaigns, they're demo campaigns, so they're in perhaps a less representative status than your own campaigns will be. And indeed, I'm going to work on one of those campaigns that has both errored and as a result is paused. It's the same campaign as I looked at briefly in the live webinar. And I am in edit mode already, prepared it in edit mode. And I'm going to go down to this email where I'm going to ask to edit the settings for the email. It's a demo email, it's not real. And there are various techniques that I've shown you before, including setting objectives, for example, how many responses do you want to this email, how many sales do you think you would generate. But in this case, I'm going to concentrate on personalization, this bottom area, which has been thoroughly reworked to make it more powerful, more flexible, and more intuitive. It's the kind of ideal combination of capabilities. So let's say we're going to add a personalization field, and I'm going to call this the salutation. How are we addressing the individual? And I can add my first piece of content, and I'm going to make that a text value, and I'm going to say we're going to use the word customer as, if you like, our default salutation. But I'm now going to add a couple of splits, and I can do that by either percentage or segment. In this case, I'll start with a percentage split, and it asks how many splits do I want? Well, I'll have two, and I can give them branches. So the first one I'm going to call personal, and the second one I'm going to call formal. So personal salutation, formal salutation. As you can see, I can change the percentages. So let's say 80% are going to get the personal, 10% are going to get the formal salutation. And then for each of those, I can add the content that I want to use. So for example, on the personal split, I want to use a variable, and we're then prompted to navigate to the appropriate variable, and I will use the person's first name. And if I need to or wish to, I can force it to have certain types of formatting. So I can force it into uppercase or lowercase, title case. In this case, I'll leave it unformatted on the basis that my data has been correctly prepared, and there may be people with hyphenated names with capitalization already in place, for example. On the formal salutation, I'm going to add content, and really just to make the illustration, I'm going to use an expression. I can either use a saved expression by navigating the folder structure to go and find it, or I can, in this case, create an expression. Let's call it sir or madam or more. Madam or more, and it's on the people table, and I've prepared it earlier so I can copy it for you rather than you watch me type it out. And this one is a case function that is checking for the gender. If it's male, it's sir. If it's female, it's madam. If it's non-binary, it's mux. And if it's unknown, it will say declined. And obviously lots of subtleties around those sorts of presentational terms. But here the expression is valid, and I can apply that. And you'll see now that we have the personal branch with 80%, the formal branch with 10%, the default sent to everyone else. You will notice if I try and edit this, and let's say I try and type 25%, it doesn't accept it. The maximum that can be allocated to this branch is 20 at present, because that will then add up to 100. If I edited this to bring it down to 75%, which is perfectly okay, then I could go back here and edit that up to 25%, and it allows it, although in practice it's quite nice in this case, to use all three branches. So that's a percentage split, and we're using a variable, and we're using an expression, and we're using some default text. And you can add further branches. I chose to add branches from the outset on the initial dialogue, but I can add another branch, and it warns me about the percentages and etc. So you can add them individually or add them initially, as I did. Let's just put on another content field, and this one we're going to call where to, and we can choose our default value. I'll add the content. Again, I'm going to use a text field for our default value, which is your favorite places. And we will apply that. But again, this time I want to add a split, and I'm doing this time as a segment split. So based on a segmentation rule or a segment rule. And you can see we get a dialogue with lots of different things that we can use for creating the segment. I'm going to select people who have been to Italy, for example. So we've got branch one. It's going to be populated with the people who have been to Italy, and I can add my content, and for speed and simplicity today, I'm just going to use text values. So let's promote Southern Europe to people who've been to Italy. Let's add another branch. Again, we're going to use the audience, and I'm going to search for people who have been, in this case, to Sweden. And again, simple approach, add the content, and for speed, it's a text value, and we're going to say the Nordics. So promote the Nordics to people who have been to Sweden. You can, as you might imagine, rename these branches. So this can be Nordics, this can be Southern. And what happens if somebody has been to both? Well, they will fall in the upper of those. So if I prefer to promote Nordics over Southern Europe, I can drag one above the other. You can do the same for convenience of listing in a percentage, but these are random percentages, so it doesn't really make any difference to how many are going to get there. But whereas here, the overlap between Sweden and Italy, travellers will be preference to the upper one in that example. And the final thing that I was going to show you that I didn't really manage to show earlier today on the live webinar is the use of external attributes. So let's just have a look at using an offer code. Now, your offer code might be created in your central ERP system or in your CRM system, or some other campaign platform, for example. And you want to link that and make sure you're using a valid offer code. Well, with a little bit of definition on the server to tell it where to find these, I can say that having created a new piece of personalization called offer code, I'm going to add the content using an external attribute. At present, on my system, we only have one external attribute defined. We just set it up in the last few minutes. And if I click on the offer codes external attribute, I now see that I'm populating this with from offer codes, and if I hit the arrow, you'll see all the different offer codes that are available in my central system. So this is data coming into Apteco from a database elsewhere. So we could say, for example, 30% off luxury resorts, and there's a code and a description associated with that. And just like we have done on the where to personalisation, we could personalise the offer code further and have different splits and do different percentages, but you've already got the idea based on what you've already seen. So I hope that is a helpful little supplement to what I showed you in the live demo. I wanted to give it a chance to just do a bit of justice to the efforts that we've made to make that easy to use. I'm James Alty. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for your time today.